Brothers and sisters, good evening. The message of the year focused on the history of the humble farmer. One day there was a farmer who perceived an eagle flying in the sky over his farm. He started having concerns about his poultry that was close by. He walked all over the farm to see if everything is fine. Then he found a small egg. When he analyzed it correctly, he realized that it is an eagle's egg. He thought about whether he took it or left it to be rotten in the farm. Definitively, he took it and put it among his poultry. Keep it warm for having an eagle. By 1 or 2 weeks, he had an eaglet. And this eaglet started to be comfortable with his adoptive family of chickens and eats corns, meals, and sorghum in the miserable life in a farm, wading in the mud with the little chicks. The eaglet lost his skin in the assimilation, totally confused in the negation, and abandons himself at this miserable life in a farm. One day, everyone walking peacefully in the courtyard. A dominant rooster yelled, "Alert! Alert! Alert! Watch! This is an eagle in the sky! Hide yourself!" All the poultry run in debauchery in all directions and in a frantic race to preserve the life. Curiously, the eaglet came and asked the dominant rooster, "What happened? Why we should escape and hide ourselves? What is this big thing in the sky?" And the dominant rooster answered, "Grandson, what you see in the sky is an eagle. In all his splendor, his majestic grandeur imposes fear. He is the master of the sky and chief of the birds, stronger than iron. No one can resist his outstanding vision and descend on the earth, only to eat the flesh. I cannot keep talking about that. You and me, we are not like him. He is not like us. Now, finish your meal of corn." The eaglet did not know if he was an eagle, because he was confused in the mass and passed the whole life in a mediocre poultry and never knew his splendor. The eaglets eat seeds and pigs, with the pigs in the mud. A warrior eagle who lost his identity in the assimilation because of the mediocre collaboration of a fell and confused group. Each of us plays a fundamental role in everyone's destiny. We all are in the same page of darkness, or under the influence of the same evil purpose to accept this miserable life on earth as whether it is God's will. We all have same problem, same concern. All the countries have same problem, same corruption, same sickness, same declining environment, same terrorism, same divorce, adultery, money problem, etc. And we all facing the same climate change because we're confused by what old decrepit men have said to looking for just a piece of bread to survive and forget we are fallen gods who lost in the negation. Our identity is unknown. This is so when we lost under the conspiration of evil, we think death is normal, while God reserved to us an eternal life. When we do not know our identity, we do not know if we are a warrior eagle or fallen god, and we will die here without hope. Despite we repeating Jesus' name every day, if we do not know our identity, we do not know what we are doing here below. If we do not know who we are, we could not know where we come from. If we do not know where we came from, we could not know where we are going. If we do not know where we are going, we lost in the negation, waiting for death without hope. We do not know the purpose of our existence. We are acting as whether we are here below to fight with our brothers, just to eat and die. When we are living under a plot of evil, we are confused and our destiny change into hell and ends in the evil's mission. Because we are under a conspiracy, our thoughts are unstable and our reflection are timid. Make us understand everything that happened to us arrive by God's will. In mental dynamics, we need to know something about how and why the mind functions. It's urgent to know something about the how and the mind of the different functionalism of the mind. A realistic system is needed. if we truly want to know the potential of the human mind, there are two brains inside the brain, and there are three different psychological aspects in each. We need new approaches to activate them, to cease to be limited beings. We need to improve the quality of values, identity, and image of ourselves. Changing values, image, and identity is fundamental. Human has educated himself to deny his authentic identity, values, and image, and make others people lose their identity. Not only it is absurdity to accept the negative culture that is subjectively installed in our mind, in our interior, and follow the path of least resistance. Climate change requires from us an objective culture which is imperative. It is an absurdity to keep accepting the subjective culture of this decadent age by following the lie of least resistance. We need to undergo a total revolution and a definitive change in this matter of image, value, and identity. Everything that happened in the exterior is exactly what is happening inside each of us, including image or event. Image, values, and identity must be changed radically for the integral revolution. We need the identity of the being, the value of the being, and the image of the being. We reach the reserve of intelligence contained in the mind. When you do that, we can liberate it. In the reserve of intelligence are the different parts of the being that orient us in the work related with the disintegration of the ego, the evil inside each of us, and the liberation of the mind. The reserve of intelligence contained in the mind orient us in the work related with the liberation of the mind. And the values of the being constitute the intelligence. The reserves of intelligence are the diverse parts of the being that guide and orient us in the psychological work related to the annihilation of the ego, the evil inside each of us, and the liberation of the mind. There is differentiation between the mind and the being. When someone accepts that the mind is battled up with the ego, it indicates that it has begun to mature. The mental is conditioned in the materialism, dictates the brain what to do. It needs to be changed and transformed in a spiritual way. In the matter of dissolution of the ego, it is necessary to combine structural and transactional analysis. The values of intelligence can liberate the mind by means of the disintegration of the undesirable psychic elements. The mental need to be transformed. We understand now why sometimes we use the forces of the adversary to reach our goal. At the end, the evil laughs on our souls. Even we believe in God or not, if we do not put the seed in the soil, the seed cannot grow to carry fruit and continue the life. Knowing our identity is imperative to recognize our mission, our place, our role in the life. Every name has a meaning, and that meaning is our mission. We all are the environment. Our identity is unlimited and synonym of sovereignty, and also our religion at the same time. Identity is big enough to not go in individually, but universally or together. Identity moves along a continuum. It is one in the multiplicity. It is at the center, at the periphery at the same time, to make sovereignty indivisible. The mission of church is to make us recognize our identity and know who we are. When we do so, fighting with our brothers for a piece of bread will be impossible. Unity makes everyone understand his mission, his role, and his limits. But we are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of God, who call you out of darkness into his marvelous light, in the mind that God created human being with genes, which are the source and the substance of life, These genes are passed down from parents to children. Our genes determine physical characteristics, behaviors, emotional reactions, and instincts, as well as how we process our thoughts. At the core of our natural identity are our genes. This is who we are, or should I say, who he is. When a man sows seeds into the receptor, meaning the woman, and a child is conceived, the next generation is giving its identity by the genes. Remember, Adam was the father of the human race. His genes were released into humanity. Adam rebelled, and rejected his life-giving creator by disobeying his command. And therefore, death was passed on Adam's seed. Therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world, and death through sin, and thus death spread to all men, because all have sinned. Adam allowed sin into the world through his disobedience. His descendants were born with a sinful nature, and with the body that will eventually die. His son Cain became a murderer of his brother Abel. Now you understand the inheritance that we receive was death, physically and spiritually. We surely understand why we start this world with a conspiracy. Now we need to change further. We need a new birth. One with an everlasting seed and genes by the Heavenly Father through His Son, Jesus the Christ. This gives us a spiritual life and the promise of a physical resurrection in the future. The conspiration is made by ignorance and by faith of evil children, and the new alliance shall be made by the knowledge and goodwill of the Son of God. Conspiracy stole what is good to the divine alliance to proclaiming there is no God. Know thyself and you will know the universe and the gods. And at the heart of the human experience lies an essential yearning for self-definition and self-understanding. Developing a conception of who we are, for what purposes we exist, and how we should live our lives is a basic impulse of human consciousness, which is now imperative. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own. You do not have the right to do whatever you want with your body. Ephesians 4 verse 22-24. To put off our whole self, which belongs to our former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desire, and to be renewed in the spirit of our mind, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Isaiah 43 verse 1. But now, thus said the Lord, He who created you, O Jacob, He who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Close quote. Climate change global phenomenon require a new approach for redefinition of our values, image, identity, beliefs, sovereignty, territory, and many others. Today, it is not acceptable to accept shut down government. Shut down government is not a solution. We are facing global challenge. We are looking for solution. Climate shut down government is not a solution. We cannot see the future with the former view that has created this bitter face of the world. The world of nuclear weapons, of division, jealousy, hatred, divorce, adultery, violence, etc., while climate change is within us all on the planet. Those who do not believe on climate change are his creator and the father of racism, because they ignored if they came from a pocket of water from their mother's womb, and they have embraced the murderer of their mother, and to kill them in return. There is no isolated solution on climate change. A global response is imperative. The new direction of human affairs is inextricably connected to the evolution of our identity. For it is from our identity that attention, action, and social development flow. Identity determines how we see ourselves and conceive our position in the world. How others see or classify us, and how we choose to engage with those around us. The source of identification, which animate and ground human beings, are immensely diverse. And as our sphere of social interaction expand, we tend to assume portion of how we define ourselves and seek to integrate into a wider domain of human experience. This often requires us to scrutinize and even resist particular interpretation of our legends that may have a claim on us. Modernity has transformed identity in such a way that we must view ourselves as being a condition of interdependence. Our connection to others now transcends traditional bounds of culture, nation, and community. The unprecedented change of nature of this connection is radically reshaping human organization and the scale of impact of human exchange. The hope of unity is the contemporary world lies to a great extent in a clearer understanding of pluralities of human identity and in the appreciation that they cut across each other and work against a sharp separation along one single garden light of impenetrable division. The resolution of the problem now engulfing the planet demands a more expansive sense of human identity. The earth is one country. Mankind is its citizen and one family. Identity is a vital precursor to action that is universally in its effect to the emergence of a world community, the consciousness of world citizenship, the founding of a world civilization and culture, a conception of life that insists upon a redefinition of all human relations. Religion shall become one in nature and essence. It shall serve to unlock a wider range of capacity within human consciousness and society, a process that has impelled the human race towards moral and spiritual maturity for the awakening of the consciousness. And because we do not know our identity, some of us do not recognize the existence of God. How could we deny something that we do not know? We could not deny God while we do not know God. We could deny after a clear understanding, then we can make our choice. Ignorance of our identity is stopping us from knowing God. Believe or believe not does not mean anything true or false. We do not know our identity. How could we know somebody else's identity? There are three brains inside the brain, you know. And there are three different psychological aspects in each. We need a new approach to activate them. The water is a deep mystery. It is with us every day. We don't even know it. It is difficult to know God. By redefining identity in terms of totality of human experience and the moral reconstruction of all human practices, we emerge in a global society that draws upon the spiritual mainspring of human identity and proposes truly constructive avenues of social change can be pursued. When identity is known, we will understand selling water is contrary to a better face of the world, as well as medication is a reduced poison. This actual currency causes more damage than good to the heart, and success can be defined only as identity, nothing else. Identity is a uniquely human concept. It is that ineffable I of self-consciousness, something that should be understood worldwide by every person, in every culture, in every continent. As René Descartes said, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Those type of identities actually can open new opportunity by offering the possibilities of redefining modern concept of identity. To arrive to identity, we should introduce seeking identity, focus on various traits and ways to live. This includes seeking truly the life despite difficulties, seeking self-mastery, being gentle, being industrious, being virtue, making no excuses, living in the present, being responsible parent, being spiritual balance, telling the truth, living free, mentoring others, serving others, etc. And this message is about developing a warrior mindset that allows us to live as a Pacific warrior, with courage and understanding that man does not live for bread alone. Immigration is fire subject today, is beyond of a single legal government authority, even less erecting a border wall for cosmic satisfaction. Anyone, regardless his status and condition, a refugee seeker, at the truth of our environmental change, immigration reform shall follow the path of universal path. Global challenge is facing us. We shall see all as global. Racism, therefore, is a crime. Disrespect is also a crime. Citizenship is synonym for identity and not different to sovereignty. Identity is built upon some renewed local and at the same time upon permanent increase of exchange, which contribute to a radical change of identification process. Identity is not stable, but permanent. What seemed relevant before, while exchanges were quite rare, when neighbors were the authors, unknown, imagine, when the daily horizon of almost everybody stopped at a few kilometers away, cannot be accepted now. Coming from a long process of its territories and the creation of an economical community, while we are facing the more giant evil of climate change. Identity is defined as a circle in a permanent continuum. We build in our hold a lot of new borders and new freedom. We mix in our minds all heritage and new hope. We are from heritage and opening. We want to keep our integrity and at the same time understand a global world. It's necessary to change the whole schema and to consider identity as puzzle with variable parts and fittings. What does it mean, therefore? To be individually as well as collectively. If the so-called individual exists, it is for the collectivity or to become collective. The border accepted or rejected, installed or moved, deleted or reinvented is necessarily subjectivized and thus involved in culture as well as in identities. We do not necessarily know where it is exactly, but we know it. We know that it exists. We can represent it. Because a border is limited, is a limit, at least a mental boundary. And everyone needs limits, despite being aware of the human difficulty to conceive infinity. All ultimate limits imply another territory. A necessarily terra incognita, an unknown land. The border is primarily an intellectual and moral case. Intellectual because it is designed and depicted. Moral because it is also socio. It bears or reflects values. Groups recognize, legitimize, and make claims on it. The border is like a seam or a scar, a joint or a hinge. A divine light, but also a barrier and a prohibition. On one hand, the border allows passage, but it can also prohibit it, making a division between us and others. It can enable people to pass its authorizing the exchange, while on the other hand, it can prohibit the entry, the exit, or even both. There is no identity without a border, because to understand the border, even without ever having actually seen it concretely, means to conceive the representation of the border. It is similar to being defined as a social being. The border has become a world transforming the identity formation process. It is the fear of the barbarian and the prohibition of passage of exchange. The boundary limit, line or limit is more or less materialized between two states. It seems to be a legacy, areas, rather than line. It allows the empire to prepare offensive and to organize its defense. It is also a virtual line, designated to isolate the civilized empire from the barbarians, or keeping eyes on the enemies after the war. Today there is no more war. There are no more enemies. There are only people living the sentences after the crime. The money we want to put on border wall, just give it to the technology and innovation. The famous limit, like Hadrian's Wall or the Great Wall of China, were built, but they were not like defensive walls than borders. on the one hand, and the notion of limits mingles with the notion of confine on the other. The territorial limits were often distant, unknown, inaccessible, and only few people desire going elsewhere. The inhabitants made the border zone merge with the boundary area, a zone of materialized limit, making use of it in the sense of exchange, communication, or in terms of waging a war with those on the other side or with those unknown. The movement of population took place, but overall borders have been often displaced and residents then changed their nationality. The political and citizen legitimacy of boundaries is relatively new. The boundaries become sacrosanct after the revolution. The advent of the nation legitimized the political boundary and erected somehow into a culture border. The sacralization of limits materialized in the territories extend to all the nation with consequences in terms of identity processes. The borders are not only needed politically, but they are also legitimized by the citizen and their project, and then lead to nationalist demand in neighboring countries. Then the boundaries opposes the neighbors in the context of the construction of identity on a national basis. In fact, as quickly as a national unitary representation appears, a belief in a cultural identity, albeit artificial, becomes a base for the nations. Nationalism is based on identity that rejects the universality or unity. It nearly destroys countries and causes millions of victims and many ashes. We cannot provide identity to others while we do not know our identity. The world citizens do not need to speak the language of the man to teach the man. When we remember where we came from and started there, this is the first step of knowing our identity and the central point of sovereignty, which is supreme, spiritual, indivisible, and belong only to God, for which we can only mandate. The neighbor is not limited to a person, but someone who lives next without anyone. It is really knowing where this neighborhood begins, and the district, the street, the building. It is difficult to define this concept in the space neighbor across the landing or neighbors at the lunch because it is close proximity, but a closeness that is only partially defined by geography or by spatialization, but of course also carries the representation of what it is to be closed. Neighbor is complex because it has several entries, but more importantly because it induces logic of inside, of outside, and of proximities. It allows to surpass economics and to install the politics. It is no longer only flows of capital goods, service, or person. This proximity of the new neighbors is both a treat and an opportunity that has been imposed very quickly. Now the neighbors is no more completely a stranger. It is at the same time near and different. And if we abandon the practical center-periphery logic, the neighbor is none other than a citizen itself in a mirror. And this neighborhood citizenship, and not of common references, cultural, political, or historical citizenship between neighbors and with external neighbors, can appear from the emergence of a public space, or rather from the connection between public space that is possible necessarily and legitimate with the integration of new limits, of new limitations, and new partnerships. Now the entire world is traversed by boundaries outside the Antarctic, century continent, all land areas owned by state, and even the oceans are subject to litigation. All the current boundaries are based on their history and their uses. In relation to the human construction, sometimes boundaries move on its natural elements, often as a result of war and treaties leaving the enclave behind. Boundaries may also arise from maps being straight like those stemming from colonizations. It is often an affair of a territory conquest. We reach all four corners of the horizon on the Rhine, near the ocean side of the Alps. The Alps are a natural obstacle, but many passages exist at this argument about the natural boundary. We build new kind of boundaries with new ways and new representations. And now it is at the same situation about the boundaries before the European Union and the Schengen area between the United States and the Mexico borders, Haiti and Dominican Republic, etc. If politics is not reversible, the evolution of culture and mentalities seems to be. The evolution of language uses is also interesting as a sign of this conceptual development. The meaning of the term boundary is gradually enriched from a military front, limits, confines that separate two states to the world, which is on the boundary, and at the present time to the attractive delimitation. Separation is no longer served only between territories. Sovereignty is no longer authority to controlling my piece of land. But what does the term border mean? A limit, an obstacle, a line, confine, a walk, an enclave, space, enclosure, a barrier, a wall, an edge, a terminal. It is a political, legal, financial, or sovereign concept, a conflict, a separator, a source of power. Remember, climate change has no isolated solution and make us understand. The universally working sovereignty system shall return to rich unity in facing the global challenge, as well as establish a well-structured immigration system once for all. Take another direction is synonym of going global or change the nature of all except God, who is unchangeable. Open the iron gate is at the price of creating a new future. Unity cannot build on broken sovereignty. Invasion of countries by totalitarian regime explain the agony of sovereignty, justifying that the invaders and the invadees both are wrong for violating the invisible and divisible sovereignty. Only love can unite two divided. When sovereignty on which we rely on become weaker and weaker, while we're facing the biggest challenge on the earth, the whole planet is in great danger. All divided sovereignties shall be connected into one. In order for church to become one, governor to become one, army to become one. A boundary is no longer essentially a passage but a confinement. Climate change requires this evolution of the meaning and of the use of the term to indicate a new internalization of limits, boundaries that become barriers. Boundary concerning an attitude of withdrawal from the real, delimited by an unknown trait, often rejected. While more and more important proportion of people in the North has opportunity for mobilities, world have become separated and opposed. Identity is complex and must take into account of all the uncertainties, ambiguities, and contradiction, and it is difficult to conceive as unity in multiplicity. It is therefore important for each of us to make a choice among the many contradictory and complex elements of the past in order to formulate once for all our true identity and build an indivisible sovereignty. The unity of our culture is how to manage the different regional, national, religious, cultural identities that establish it, to giving it a new status and taking advantage of this very plurality. A physical border is far to be a solution. But to which solution? To which problem? Of course, it must be preferable to find alternative political solutions that are erected to separate secure habitat zones at the boundaries of state. Many of these walls are installed in the daily kind of culture walls, administrative walls, social walls, racial walls between rich and poor countries, between rich and poor, whites and black, Catholics, Protestants, Jews, Muslims, etc. Whenever a culture or a civilization has failed to think of the other, to think with the other, these rigid barriers of stone, iron, wire, or closed ideologies were raised, collapsed, and returned again to new stringency. The identity wall has resulted since ages in the eternal confrontation of people, empires, colonial expansion, in making the slave of the Negroes, the atrocities of American slavery, and all genocides. The fundamental question shall be, how can we change boundaries? Now limits to border, wall. How can we break away with such representation and ideologies that exploit the truth and the fears? Knowing our identity is imperative for a new beginning or having a new mindset to get into the future. The boundaries necessarily for the identity process are also necessary for the political legitimacy, and it is true that conflict often arises when the boundaries are not or poorly defined. Boundaries intersect with the socio as well as with the culture and the spiritual. And it is from the inside only that the world can be destroyed physically, mentally, eliminating the screens of radical separations. The only judge of divine nature, indivisible, and impossibilities of mixed states. Sovereignty is no longer authority of controlling my land, but rather being free from the influence of the outside. The marvelous truth is that only God is sovereign. That simply means that nothing takes place in this life which does not belong to Him. He is supreme over everything. Sovereignty is a spiritual notion. The ancestral ties between the land, or Mother Nature, and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people were born therefrom, remain attached thereto, and must one day return tighter to be united with our ancestors. And this link is the basis of the ownership of the soil, or between of the sovereignty. It has never been ceded or extinguished and coexist with the sovereignty of the crown. The language of spirituality might seem to muddy the waters, but it is hard to find the right word with religion, has been so alienated in modern legislation from most of its primordial connections. There are no meaningful separation between land ownership, natural resources management, cultural heritage, and religious practice. Indivisibility of sovereignty is uniqueness connected to the Supreme Being. Indivisible sovereignty has been broken down by the conspiracy to bury the plan of God after Jesus the Christ, to leave us the earthly governance program to follow in order to meet with climate change today. Sovereignty shall be seen as the ultimate overseer or authority in the decision-making process and in the maintenance of divine order. The concept of sovereignty becomes one of the most controversial ideas in political science and international law that leave God behind. Sovereignty derived from the Latin term sovereignus through the French term souveraineté. Sovereignty was originally meant to be equivalent to supreme power derived from God only. It is contradictory to us since its birth. However, in practice, it has departed from its original meaning. Therefore, some corporeal entities are indivisible, and that such indivisibility is a condition of their continuous existence in time and space. Indivisibility helps us to explain, to account for the unity and continuity of the sovereignty shall be conceived as such for more or less, as well as world. As Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, was quick to point out, whenever sovereignty seems to be divided, there is an illusion, the rights of which are taken as being part of sovereignty are really all subordinate and always imply supreme wills of which they only sanction the execution. Close quote. The indivisibility of sovereignty is tied to inalienability. The division of sovereign power is the same as a partial transfer of legislative authority as an organized hypocrisy. Close quote. Disconnecting from God, our sovereignty, is the greatest offense to heaven that has occasioned the collapse of our former continent. Thus, the notion of indivisibility tells us that the basic makeup of the political world is immutable and that beyond the apparent plurality of political forms is an underlying unity that has made this pattern of variation possible. If indivisible sovereignty seems to be nothing, but it is all, as a symbolic form, by meaning of which we make sense of political reality, merely begs the question of how this symbolic form related to the objects it represents or subsumes. What yesterday we have taken for granted, today as indivisible sovereignty is imperative to open the new gate and to be included in the new constitution as political order for the new era. We all are concerned about unity, but we are divided under the conspiracy of evil, while we are standing on divided sovereignty that subjects the whole planet to collapse at any time. Divided sovereignty fades away every day. Patriotism is in agony. Sovereignty and its indivisibility never stop to live in continuum journey. State countries in all continents are failure, where violence, disorders of all kinds, terrorism, refugees, corruption are rampant and seek place to promote insecurity and become a machinery to kill and oppress lives. Sovereignty was not born to fit on divided territories. In terms of creating a new world for the children, indivisible sovereignty is the key, and immigration is the door to open the future. Being sovereign is synonym of being free from the outside. It is important to remember that our sovereignty does not separate us from others. This seems to be impossible to do, but every person can share the life of God with us and make us free to live our lives. We choose just as we are. We are independent in choice, but interdependent in life. When we understand this, we will recognize that our sovereignty functions only within the embrace of God's unity. And then we will cease creating so many problems for ourselves and stop talking about war and division. How can so many people making sovereign decisions and never agree on anything? Where is the hope for harmony or unity in this? The important thing to remember is that there is only one life, God's life, in which we are all equally loved and connected. The concept of sovereignty is complex because we are trying to explain it outside of God, while only Him can provide the right to be sovereign. To be sovereign is to be able to withhold the responsibility consciously from our acts through the expressing of the many aspects of the uniqueness of our soul and the realities that we are helping co-create. It is one of the most valuable concepts that precede the effort of the path of self-mastery. It does not often affirm an individual superiority about another being, but reinforce our right to have our experience and to consciously limit the interference of others into our reality, both internally and externally. All souls come with a life program and a series of life contracts to be played out in the current lifetime. The contract as diverse as the world, as we are programmed to play an individual. Every contract comes with particular aspects to be worked out, but despite their difference, none can overrule over one's sovereignty as an individual or interfere with his free will. Sovereignty is not a divisible concept. It is one that reinforces the right to our individuality. The interesting aspect to be mentioned is that as we are not separate from the source and ultimately an extension of God's life, we are still autonomous, not separate per se, but autonomous in the selection of quality and intensity of our life's experience. This is a very important point because the divine source has allowed us to come into existence in a dimensional matrix or duality to play our life's plan using the gift of free will. God has has consigned our souls with authority to create our life experience according to the thought and beliefs we have in our mind. In this same thought, we are responsible for the quality of our life experience. Nothing is predetermined to a point where we are stripped of our personal divine power and transformed into a being that flows on the ebb's tide of destiny. It's important in the process of facing climate change to affirm our sovereignty so that we develop a watchful attitude to identify the demands of our ego, the evil inside each of us. Because to be completely free, one must realize that we are not. But freedom is also recognized the interference of other's being in our energy field, limiting us in our potential intention and life purpose. The sovereignty of God is freedom, faith, and human responsibility. We cannot talking about sovereignty while only God is sovereign, and we are disconnected from Him by faith and responsibility. If we are miserable on the earth because we fail our mission, sovereignty means supreme power in all things. One man cannot hold supreme power unless foolishness or dream, because the alarming challenge on the earth. Sovereignty means that God as the ruler of the entire universe is free and has the right to do whatever He wants. He is not bound or limited by the dictates of His created beings. God's sovereignty is beyond understanding. Further, He is in complete control over everything that happens here on earth. God's will is the final cause of all things. Sovereignty is often expressed in the language of kinship. God, nothing and no one can oppose God. He is the Lord of heaven and earth. He is enthroned, and His throne is a symbol of His sovereignty. God's will is supreme, and the sovereignty of God is supported by many verses in the Bible. Isaiah 46, verse 9-11. I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient time. What is still to come? I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. What I have said, that I will bring about. What I have planned, that I will do. Psalm 115, verse 3. Our God is in heaven. He does whatever He pleases Him. Daniel 4, verse 35. All the peoples on the earth are regarded as nothing. He does as He pleases with the power of heaven and the peoples of earth. No one can hold back His hand or say to Him, what have you done? Romans 9, verse 20. But who are you, a human being, to talk back to God? Shall what is formed say to the one who formed it, why did you make me like this? God's sovereignty is a stumbling block for the atheism and the unbelievers who demand that if God is in total control, that He eliminate all evil and suffering from the world. Part of God's sovereignty is that despite our unworthiness, He chooses to love and save us anyway. He gives everyone the freedom to accept or reject His love. Amen.